wanna hide something from a Christian, hide it in they book. If non-believers know your book better, how that's gonna look. Can't take the heat, get out the kitchen.
We're here today because we're just offering prayers. We can.
But Jesus said, hold up, Jesus said, I don't even pray for the world. So how are you praying for me, but you don't even know if I follow Jesus or not?
We do gotta get going. Is there a better time we can come back?
No, I'm just asking a question.
We do gotta get going.
Why are you praying for everybody if Jesus didn't pray for everybody? That's my only question.
So we're praying for the people that want to be prayed for.
But Jesus didn't do that.
Jesus said, come and follow me.
He says, I don't pray for the world. He only prayed for the disciples. So why are you praying for everybody?
How are we supposed to find those that are ready?
But how are you supposed to follow Jesus if you're not praying like he prayed? That's my point.
How does Jesus pray?
He taught you. He taught you how to pray, right? Our Father which art in heaven. But I'm saying if he didn't pray for the world, then why are you praying for the world? That's my point.
Sounds good.
John 17.
Now let's examine this scripture real closely. Jesus said, I pray for them. Who is the them? He's praying for his disciples. He says, I do not pray for the world, but for them which God gave him, which are his disciples, for they are his. They are God's. But now when you go down, starting at verse 18 and 20, he's going to pray for a different group of people. Now, he just said he was only praying for his disciples. He's not praying for the world. But here in verse 18 and verse 20, he's going to start praying for the world. He's going to start praying for those who will believe on account of the disciples. So he's going to start praying for unbelievers. He says, as you sent me into the world. Now, he just said he's not praying for nobody in the world. But where is he sending his disciples to? Out in the world. He said, as you sent me into the world, also I have sent them into the world. So if you're not praying for the world, why are you sending the disciples out into the world? Because he's getting ready to pray for the people that's in the world. He says, I do not pray for these alone. Now he's saying he do not pray for the disciples alone, but also for those who will believe in me through their word. So now he's praying for unbelievers. He's praying for people that are lost in the world to come to God, to come to the faith, to be converted. But in verse 9, he just said that he's not praying for the world. But clearly, he's sending his disciples out into the world to convert people to the faith. So it's a clear contradiction in the same chapter. He's praying for unbelievers. He's praying for people who don't believe, that they may come to believe on account of the disciples' word. It's right there. I hope you got eyes to see this. He say he not praying for the world in verse 9, but he sent his disciples out into the world in verse 18. And in verse 20, he's praying for the people that he sent the disciples out in the world to go preach to, that they may come to belief on account of the disciples' word. It can't get no clearer than that. We call that the contradiction of the day. Contradiction. 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 It ain't no contradiction, you just need to speak.